Welcome to Overwatch. This time we're going to lay out some of the issues facing Overwatch currently, and we'll probably keep facing these issues for the coming week, unfortunately, as Blizzard does go on its little winter holidays. There's a few things in here that might feel a little bit irrelevant to some of you, but it'll matter a lot going forward into the future, I assure you. Let's begin. Number 5. Overtime. It still feels pretty damn unsatisfying, even with the changes that went in a while ago. I've had far too many games get dragged into long stalls, and it feels like most of my ranked matches end on fighting D.Va, Mei, Lucio and Tracer in a never-ending cycle until we manage to stomp them out after they've burnt a minute or two from the clock. And it just doesn't feel very satisfying. It doesn't really feel like we're playing Overwatch either, and the annoying part is that it can really determine and influence games. You could make the argument that proper stalling and evading damage is a skill, while also being a terrible human being for making that argument, because at the end of the day, it isn't fun, it isn't satisfying, and having the obligatory end of match swap to D.Va, Mei and Tracer is kind of eh. Fixes are kind of simple. The first is just making stuff like Ice Block not contest points, same with Wraith Form. Stealth I don't mind contesting, by the way, it's counterable with a little bit of spam, but removing those free little bits of time could probably go a long way to solving some of those desperate last minute dash-ins. At least with stuff like Tracer and Stormbright, you can shoot them down and actually get the kill on them, rather than being forced to just sit and wait while people respawn. Otherwise, there's also the simple matter of the spawn distance to the point, so Anubis, Iconval and Honourable, or for example, are all probably a little bit too tight and a bit too close to that spawn point, making it very easy to reinforce the control point if it is being taken. But I really wouldn't be sorry to see Overwatch stalls fade into a distant and forgotten memory. Number the 4th. Building Toxicity and the report system. There was always going to be some of this. Team-based game, multiple roles, people being people, you're going to end up with some salt starting to flow and then people starting to get angry, blaming teammates for perceived issues, real or not real. I've always been one to say that Blizzard should be pretty heavy-handed with this system, investing in community moderation and finding ways to remove toxic players from the ranked player base. I mean, to me, it's kind of simple. Sure, everyone can get a bit arseholish at times. 1 or 2 snaps probably isn't going to get you picked up on the report system, but if you're consistently obnoxious to deal with, well, the lesson needs to be harsh, right? I'd also like to see some sort of feedback system on the report system, just something that lets you know that someone you've reported has been penalised. No names, no details, but a sign that the system works. Otherwise, you're just kind of invisibly tossing reports at the system and hoping. Considering Overwatch's player base size, you're probably going to mostly cycle through different people anyway when you play. It'll be hard to know if the guy shouting at everyone on your team was ever punished for it, and that can feel very unsatisfying. Number 3. Map pools in competitive and professional play. With Oasis coming in soon, Overwatch is going to have a pretty damn huge collection of maps. While each map is generating a fairly standard meta, although people still play Volskaya completely wrong in my eyes, there's a lot of these maps to play with, and it's very hard to master all of them. Seeing a few getting traded out wouldn't be too bad. Hanamura and Volskaya probably being my least favourite two, incidentally. This brings me onto a worrying thing that we are starting to see in pro-level Overwatch, with Blizzard trying to phase out pick ban map drafts. Already most pro-level teams struggle to find the time to properly scrim every single map, so removing a few of the less competitively rigorous maps, as in maps less likely to reward good play and reward the winner with an actual victory, from the pool wouldn't be too bad a thing to do. And then using a pick ban system can also allow teams to specialise, generate specific strategies and reward good coaching and scouting alongside good play. Done right, a map draft can make or break a series, can bring out upsets as a team practices maps that their opponents perhaps didn't, set up storylines and provide variety if done well. Although yes, you're going to see maps like Kings Row, Dorado and Hollywood several times, but it's better than a round of 8 having Ilios 4 times in a row as a starting map over and over again like we had fairly recently. Number 2. Inconsistency in ranked play. I think everyone's been hit by this somewhat. At the end of Season 2 it felt like matches were pretty consistent, the skill levels were all pretty evenly matched up and it worked out pretty well. I'm hearing across the board though that games have felt oddly rated against each other. I put it down to Blizzard wanting to flatten the curve, so to speak, in Season 3. More golds and plats pushed down, for example, more diamonds pushed up into Master and Grandmaster. And I can say emphatically that Master isn't what it was last season, and Grandmaster is no longer some elite cabal of pros and semi-pros. Given time, it might sort itself out as people get used to the new average levels of play at each rank, but right now it feels, well, messy. A lot of games at mid to high masters seem to come down to whoever has that mismatched player, whether it's a Soldier 76 that consistently runs over and over again in front of Reinhardt's barrier, or a charge-happy Reinhardt just overextending constantly and getting killed. I find a good number of my games come down to which team has the knowledge gaps and which team doesn't. And I've heard this is true pretty much all the way down. Games in Gold, for example, where one or two players are clearly above the curve and having a huge impact. It's like fire has come along and concussive blast in the middle of the ratings and blown people left and right and all over the place at the moment, rather than the slow drift towards ranks that we were seeing during Season 2. Fixing this one, probably just going to take a little bit of time. I'd also like to see more conservative placements. People getting slotted into Masters and above, for example, just feels a little bit off to me, but I enjoy climbing. Matching in Overwatch is difficult. After all, 23 heroes, varying skill levels across all of them, communication and matching the right people together is just brutally hard, but right now, it just feels a little bit off. Number 1. The tank meta. It had to be. I have an account in Grandmaster and an account in Master, and I can tell you that pretty much all of my games feature D.Va, Reinhardt, Roadhog, Lucio, Ana, and Soldier 76. Sometimes there's a little bit of variety splashed in there, but the overwhelming majority go to tank meta. And it just isn't fun. It isn't fun to watch, it isn't fun to play, and it's frustrating because it's such a strong option. So how do we break it? Well, first things first. First, Ana's healing needs to come down a little bit. It's ridiculous how good she is at maintaining tank hit points, even with the team focusing and burning them down. Second, tank killing just needs fleshing out a little bit. Reaper could keep it in check a little bit until D.Va came in, who can basically destroy any effective anti-tank play Reaper can manage. With McCree's Fan the Hammer coming down a while ago, healing going up, and the only major viable anti-tank with D.Va in the mix being Roadhog, who he himself is a tank, or a massive bit of burst damage, like, you know, say a Reinhardt charge, it's little surprise that people start favouring tank-heavy play. I think Roadhog is long overdue a cooldown increase on his hook, and D.Va is long overdue a nerf on her defense matrix. Even if she only recently came into viability, the ability has always been incredibly strong since it got changed to a toggle on and off rather than a static thing that goes up for a few seconds and then vanishes. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be a meta. The issue with this one is that it's relatively straightforward to run. 3 tanks who are difficult to kill combined with an Ana who has a relatively easy time hitting them and healing them, mix in some versatile high damage source like and even more healing like Soldier 76 and a second solid support to complement attack or defense, and you are golden and good to go. This isn't like the old double Genji and Symmetra or Widowmaker meta or even McCree meta, heroes that give different amount of returns based on how good the players are with them and are very difficult to execute for us mere mortals. The result is, well, a rather obnoxiously stale meta that's probably going to be with us until early January, maybe even longer, and that makes me a little bit sad. Thanks for watching to the end, guys. This has been my list of the current issues in Overwatch. Let me know if you think I missed something. Oh, of course I did. Boostio. Boostio should be in there somewhere. You shouldn't just be able to nano boost Lucio full stop, because fuck Boostio. Toodles.